Hey everybody, Scott here from the Jostens service station. Ready for another fill up? Okay, here we go for the month of October. Coming up in a moment, a great interview on what should be the #1 reason we make a yearbook in the first place, which is telling stories that will then last a lifetime. Everyone in your school has some story to tell, and everybody wants their story told. We'll have some great views from a veteran advisor who's done just that. But first, let's start with some news. Hopefully you and your group had a terrific time with National Yearbook Week, back first week of October. But here's a thought. Let's make every week Yearbook Week. Share out all the great work that you're doing. Let people know. And there's different ways to do that. You can share out pictures you've taken, maybe share a completed page or two, show off your new cover design for this year, or maybe tell some stories along the way. And again, we'll have more on that in just a moment. Multiple ways to do it. You can definitely do it on social media, maybe daily announcements. Maybe you have a video board at school, in the cafeteria, or elsewhere. Or there's other ways. Don't be a secret. Let's share out your great work all year long, and of course, always remind people how to get a copy of your 2020 yearbook. Now, I know there are a lot of great photographers out there, so let's do this. It's time now to enter this year's Jostens Photo Contest. Entries will run through March 1st, but don't wait that long. Enter today. It's easy to do. You do it online, doesn't cost anything. A number of different categories to choose from, high school and middle school. Lots of great prizes once again to give away this year. $1,000 and a new camera package is the grand prize. And for Jostens schools, those images get shared out in next year's Jostens Lookbook and also on your Yearbook Avenue website. So let's not wait. Let's start entering now. Go to jostens.com/photo contest for all the details. All right, from pictures now to writing. Advisors, if you're looking for a text to help your staff do a much better job with writing, you will not do a better job than this. This is called The Radical Write by Bobby Hawthorne. Recently, Jostens was honored to publish the 4th edition of this terrific text. It's got some updated ideas, but it has some rather radical ideas about writing. Talk to your Jostens representative about getting copies for your staff for both yearbook and newspaper groups. And if you'd like to hear some of those radical ideas from Bobby Hawthorne, on YouTube, search for our yearbooking report from October 2018, as we had a great interview with Bobby. You can check that out, the video, and also the podcast on Podbean or through Apple. Well, here's a crazy idea. No matter what you're doing with yearbook right now, if you're a photographer, an editor, a writer, page designer, whatever, I want you to forget it. Just forget it. Instead, you have just one job. You are a storyteller, and there are so many people in your school that want their stories told. Why should we make it such a top priority to tell stories in the yearbook, which could also improve the life of your entire school? Recently, we talked with a veteran advisor who showed us the way on why storytelling should be your #1 priority.
Casey Nichols, and I live in Rocklin, California. You know, we used to teach the 5 purposes of the yearbook, and I still do. It's a history book, and I'm a history teacher as well, a long time ago. But really it comes down to memories, and what are the things we're going to remember? We're going to remember stories. In our own life, we remember stories. We don't necessarily remember facts. In fact, we know ourselves by our stories. So I believe a yearbook has a potential to not just record memories, which is that's really what a yearbook is. It's a memory book. Yes, it has facts for history. Yes, it has PR value. Yes, it has indication. Yes, it has reference value. What did that guy look like? But really, it's a memory book. One of the first things I say when I teach even workshops now is we're going to tell stories in the yearbook, but I try to take their anxiety away by saying stories aren't necessarily copy. When we say stories, they think of a feature story. That's one way to tell a story. Photos are another. We want our photographers to think about what's the story behind this photo or this set of photos. What story am I trying to tell by capturing these images? What words will go with them to help capture that story? The designer's job then is to display stories in a way that people will want to read them. And again, read might be looking at photos. Read might be invitation to look at the headline. And read can look at all kinds of alternative copy formats. So my strong belief has been that the most important thing to do is to allow people to tell their own stories. And in fact, invite or encourage them to tell their own stories. So in my journalism teaching, we have strong emphasis on interviewing skills, and we have strong emphasis on gathering anecdotal stories in first-person voice, or what I call authentic voice, and allow people to tell their stories because they want to. We're capturing really the heart of student life in 2020, and you can apply that in sports, academics, across the board. And it was compelling to read, and a lot of the stories were not very long. So I guess I would summarize it by this. I got to the point towards the end where I believe this: student media has the potential to be a force for empathy and understanding on the high school campus, or middle school, okay, but especially high school. And when we think about the mental health issues and anxiety, stress, all those things that students are going through today, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. If we can help promote understanding of other people and realize, yeah, we all got stuff. We've got great stuff, we've got hard stuff. Then we're kind of a force for good on campus, and I love that idea. I think one of the mistakes we make as yearbook people is we sit in our room and we make a yearbook. And sure, we go out and shoot photos and things, but we're not part of the school every day. So Instagram, in our case, it's potential. Some schools have pulled it off with Snapchat. I don't see that because it's a little goofy to me, but I know some schools have made it work. Some schools have made it work with Twitter, if that's where your kids are at your school. But ours, Instagram was the thing that worked. So we published, we tried to post on Instagram between anywhere from 5 to 15 times a week. No more than 3 times a day was kind of the rule. If they were doing a cool lab in their chemistry class, they would ask the teacher, like, can I use my smartphone to get a photo of this? And they would post it on Instagram. But sometimes it was from sporting events. Sometimes it was a group of kids who went on a hike. You know, we wanted to show our student body that we were part of their life every day. The way I would describe it to my own students is we want to be part of the conversation every day.
A big thank you to Casey for his ideas and insights, and we're thrilled to have him now as a Jostens Ambassador doing workshops all over the country. Telling stories in your yearbook is so important, and it could be a catalyst to improving your entire school. But you just saw a small portion there. If you'd like to hear the entire 45-minute interview filled with even more tips and ideas, a career's worth of wisdom from Casey Nichols, then be sure to check out our podcast at the address shown on the screen. And while you're there, make sure to follow our Yearbooking Report podcast so you never miss an episode. Finally, we from Jostens are honored to be attending the annual Journalism Education Association Fall Convention, which is coming up in Washington, D.C. in mid-November this year, the week before Thanksgiving. If you happen to be going, make sure you stop by the Jostens booth, get some yearbook swag, also plenty of ideas and tools and tips there. And I'm honored to be attending this year. I'm going to be doing a breakout session on storytelling on Friday that week. If you happen to be going, please come check it out. Don't look now, we have a lot of holidays coming up, right? Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Sometime soon, get your group together and start doing some brainstorming on how you can tie your yearbook into those holidays. Lots of stories to tell, of course. Good promotion is more than just making a bunch of posters and signs. If you're a Jostens school, you have a lot to choose from. On Yearbook Avenue, be sure to check out the sales dashboard. And of course, inside the digital classroom, search for promotion. A whole lot of ideas come up. And of course, don't forget, always have a lot of fun doing it. Thanks for watching.